At the end, I was a typical pattern with me. I'd go down to the store, all the local stores, including the big grocery stores, knew me by name. And I would go in there and I would buy a 36 pack. It was always between 30 and 40 beers, and just kept going, kept going. The next day I'd start over. You need to get help. You need to get help. We're not coming back in your life until you get help. I didn't want help, but it was that day I didn't want alcohol either. I just knew it was tough because, I mean, it was embarrassing. I'd go to the store and the guys that knew me and I'd always joke around with, instead of them just handing me money, I started realizing, it's like, Steve, you're like an epileptic.
You were shaking.
Oh yeah, and it was bad. I realized it took over, and I was scared. I was scared to stop, and I was scared to go on. If that makes any kind of sense, I was kind of in a
of course it does.
mental, spiritual, and physical limbo where it's the why and what next. It's always plagued me. Well, now I knew I had to do something. At the time, I was 32 years old, and I thought, this, you know, I feel like a racer. I was strong out of the gate, and it didn't finish for anything. It was right in the middle of the race. I got crippled, laid up, and someone was about to come put me down, is basically how I felt. Corey brought me up here and basically checked me into the detox house. I've learned all this after I didn't know really where I was at the time other than a nice cabin. And we set up an appointment to go to the doctor the next day. And I remember that there was staff that would just come check on me, and they were very gracious. It was like it's almost like you're going to a relative you haven't seen in a long time, where you're not going to get a hug, but anything you want in the fridge, all of that, you're welcome to it.
Yeah.
And my biggest advocate was the counselor that I had assigned to me, or I was assigned, however it works, where Rick, I remember we laughed a lot. And he was a straight shooter. It wasn't one of those, here's a lemon wedge for your wallet. He didn't care. He wanted to make sure that my head was right, and this is what's going to happen. And, you know, you've already embarrassed yourself. So they took that element away. Great. You know, we don't have embarrassment. This is you moving forward. This is the life that you chose. And I remember just having it where I was able to communicate and talk, and I trusted him because he was transparent. He didn't hide anything from us. It wasn't like, I didn't feel like here's a file, or here just, oh, you're screwed up. You know, it was funny because I realized, anybody in the group, we didn't say anything that surprised anybody.
Yeah.
Our behavior, abhorrent as it was, wasn't something that was new.
Right.
And I was an iconoclast. I was fitting right into a typical mold where it's, you need help. Good for you, you came to see us.